Ohio there! Is the flag waving? Yeah. I'm here in Japan for the 6 months, and I think it's about time for me to share some of the tips and tricks that I have collected and carefully selected just for you, if you're planning on visiting Japan or maybe even moving here. Let's go. First things first. When do you actually come to Japan, right? And I think the best season, and everybody will tell you that, is the sakura season, the cherry blossom season, which is in spring, April, maybe till the beginning of May. But generally April is very nice weather in most of Japan, I think. But especially in Tokyo area, Osaka area, all the famous big cities. If you come in summer, man, do your research. I didn't do it and I'm regretting it right now. So it's hardly possible to survive. The only way I'm surviving right now is I'm covered completely in sunscreen, and my t-shirt, it has dried up already, but I'm making it soaking wet so that I'm able to survive for at least for half an hour in the scorching sun. You will see a lot of people carrying umbrellas to protect you from the sun, and this might be not the worst idea actually. I don't usually carry umbrellas against the rain, but the sun, man, it's hot. In fact, I think I'm gonna go and refresh myself a bit because... And believe me, when I'm saying it's hot, it's pretty damn hot. I come from the region of Ukraine myself, where temperatures of 35 degrees and higher are not uncommon. So yeah, humidity here, that's what kills it. Just to finish off the heat situation, this is the reason I got myself these Aladdin pants, because otherwise it's just impossible to survive, or you get burned. Moving on, you landed in Japan. Now what? First, of course, you're gonna need money, the local money, and cash. You're gonna come back to it, but more likely than not, you're gonna need internet access, right? And it means data plans. So my solution is get yourself an eSIM maybe for the first few days, or make sure that your roaming works, because mine for some reason didn't and it was a pain. Because after arriving, I got you covered. I found the cheapest way to get internet access, and it is registering at Japanese Amazon, so Amazon code JP, and there you can order Japanese SIM card. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, eSIMs were not available, so it has to be a physical card, but good thing is you can get it delivered to your hostel or hotel address. Just make sure to specify the address correctly. Maybe ask the owner of the hotel. One caveat though, usually for tourists you get a SIM card without a phone number, meaning you get only internet access and data. But if you manage to get a SIM card with a phone number, it could be of an advantage, because then you can use this Japanese phone number to install one of the apps for moving around on trains. The famous one is Suka, the Penguin app, and another one that I'm using, and I found their interface more useful, Pasmo. Both apps are actually only in Japanese, only have Japanese interface, but I used screenshots and then translating those screenshots into English. That's how I managed to install it. But yeah, again, you're gonna need Japanese phone number for this. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with any other phone number. Oh yeah, as for cash, you're gonna need it. Maybe not directly at the airport. In fact, in most places you can pay with your credit card, but more likely than not, in small places, small restaurants, in that nice takoyaki place or ramen shop, you're gonna need cash. So you can withdraw it either at ATM, at any convenience store, 7-Eleven, Family Mart, or yeah, bring hard cash and exchange it. As to how much money you need to carry around, well, a simple meal for one person would cost you around 1,000 yen. Of course, it goes up from there. Somewhat of a nicer meal could be around 1,500, 2,000, maybe 3,000 with a drink. And in smaller shops, you're gonna need cash for that. Oh yeah, but there is a trick that you can use in some shops, not everywhere. If you set up this Pasmo or Suka railway pass app, or get yourself a card, you can pay with it sometimes too. Definitely you can pay with it in konbinis and some supermarkets, but in some shops as well. So just ask if you can pay with it. An honorable mention, if you want to fly a drone, check the local rules and regulations. Likely it's not allowed to film around shrines and castles, and in any case you're gonna need a license, which means you just go to the official website, you pay some fee and tick a couple of checkboxes, provide the serial number and all, but you need to do it. Do you hear the sound? That's the plague. cicadas, I think. So, if you're sensitive to sounds, bring yourself some earplugs. Because, man, those cicadas are everywhere. If you're in the nature and if you're in the city, even though the side streets are quite quiet, if you're staying in hostels and everything, it could be quite loud. So, take care of yourself, bring yourself some earplugs. That's a little tip for you. Trains in Japan were great, public transportation in general. You definitely heard about Shinkansen, the infamous bullet train. Well, let me tell you, I wasn't able to book it as much as I wanted to online. Apparently the way to do it is you go to the ticket machine and do it online. What I found out at least, correct me if I'm wrong, you need a Japanese phone number, which is kind of a shame because I checked multiple companies. So if you do want to try it, go to the ticket machine, maybe ask the local ticket officer to help you out. For other trains, it's fairly easy, either with the same ticket system or with a Passmo if you have it. Maybe there was something good after all in the fact that I wasn't able to book Shinkansen. Well, because I found out that there are pretty convenient night buses, and it's not like your regular long commute buses that you know from the US or Europe. Those are quite convenient actually. They have a lot of legroom and the seats are reclining quite far. Another good point is they are twice as cheap as the Shinkansen bullet trains. By the way, when using trains in general, watch out for so-called green cards. Those are first-class train cards, which you have to book and buy tickets for separately. And women-only cards, unless you're a woman, of course. So just something to keep in mind. Also, in a lot of cards, there are usually special seats, priority seats, in the beginning and or in the end of the train, or in the end of the card, where well, there are priority seats, which you can use, but if there's somebody comes up that needs them, then you have to free them up immediately. In general, it's very advisable to be a decent human being in Japanese trains, like not talking on the phone, not being loud, and you're not allowed to drink beer and eat food. It's not Berlin for you after all. Come on. Almost there. It's not that high, it's just super hot. As for taxis, they are pretty cool here. They look very nice. You have normally a driver that looks like a hitman, with white gloves and all, and the automatically opening doors. So you're not supposed to open them, they open automatically and close as well. Right on time. The Sunset Himeji Castle. So it's quite expensive, the taxis as they usually are. But what you can get is the app Go, I think. It's the most popular one. Uber is not so popular. You might be able to use it in some bigger cities, but it's not a thing here. Ooh, wow, the reward. The Himeji Castle. Isn't it nice? Oh yeah, one more thing about the trains. If you're going out late, don't forget to check when the last train is gonna be, because they don't go 24/7. Just check to be on the safe side, unless you're planning on taking taxi, of course. And if you're not a fan of public transport or taxis, use my favorite means of getting around. Rent a bike. If you are staying for longer, you can get one at one of those used bike shops. Maybe make a deal and maybe try to negotiate that you will return the bike. What else we got? Oh yeah, this is another big topic, which is what to eat. And Japan is really a good country in this sense because it can be quite expensive, but it also can be quite affordable. Let me tell you more with the new view. There's a pretty nice view of the city here as well. Yeah, food. What to eat, right? Can be quite affordable, can also get quite expensive. All depends on your budget. So you can try your Wagyu beef in a really nice and fancy restaurant, but you can also get it in a, well, maybe not every supermarket, but you can get it in a supermarket and try it for yourself. Sashimi style, or cook it. You have to have a cooking space in your accommodation. That's really of an advantage, because then you can also get all kinds of food. Pro tip, look for Gyomu Supa. This is a supermarket with lots of cool frozen foods. And not only that, you can also get some decent ramen. It's not your regular instant ramen kind of situation. It's pre-made, cooled down ramen noodles with some sauce instead of powder, and it could be not that bad. Honestly, so much better than instant noodles, that's for sure. Towards the evenings, you can get decent deals on sushi. Just the other day, I got some pretty good deal. I got a lot of sushi for maybe 600 yen. That's not even 4 euros, maybe around 4 euros. And I had a decent meal. In Germany, no way you're gonna get that much food, decent food, for that money. In restaurants, it can go anywhere from 1,000 yen to pretty much unlimited, I guess. 1,000 yen for a meal, and drinks are usually provided in terms of simple drinks, chilled water, or mugicha, the barley tea, which is pretty nice in summer as well. What about tips? Well, there is no tipping culture here. In fact, people might get offended, so don't do it. If you're traveling, if you're cycling a lot especially, super nice food tip is go to one of those convenience stores. My favorite one is Family Mart, although the locals apparently seem to prefer 7-Eleven. But in Family Mart, you get this nice chocolate cake, maybe some kind of cheesecake, but most importantly, it's very chocolatey and it's so nice. If I'm craving something sweet, this is my go-to thing in the evening after dinner. Super nice. But if you're traveling and on a bicycle, coming back to that situation, onigiri, that's your friend for life. Seriously, this is so good. I'm really disappointed this is not a thing in Europe. Sometimes I guess you can get it, but it's not that widespread at all. This is something that we could definitely use in other parts of the world. But if you're going to buy that convenient food from all the convenience stores, prepare for your biggest challenge in Japan yet, which is the lack of trash bins. I'm in a park right now, there isn't any in sight. And in a radius of, well, the entire city basically. Not unless you go inside the convenience store, then usually some of the food that you bought there and the packaging for it you can return there as well, meaning the bottles and so on. But other than that, yeah, it could be quite challenging. So my advice is prepare a little plastic bag, which you're gonna use for trash, and you're gonna have to carry it around and bring back to your hotel where you're staying and throw it away there. Also, especially if you come in summer, you're gonna need to carry around water, right? So it's already a lot of items to carry around. You might add your passport to that, because if you're a foreigner, there is a lot of shops around that you can shop at tax-free. So at the spot they will deduct taxes and charge you without taxes, which I didn't use nearly enough. But talking about a lot of stuff that you have to carry, I think the best option, which is a matter of preference of course, but I think carrying a backpack is always a good option. So you can pack all your trash in there, all your onigiri that you bought in the convenience store, and other snacks. Coming back to shopping situation, there are some really cool shops that you have to visit. Maybe you already heard about Don Quixote. Sorry for this embarrassing singing situation. This is the song you hear in the Don Quixote shop. This is a chain of huge supermarkets. Well, it's not just a supermarket, they sell everything from, supermarket food stuff to bicycles to some nasty toys and all kinds of things, really. It's incredible, you have to go there. A lot of plastic, but a lot of exciting stuff. Another shop, less known, is Book Off. It's, I think originally maybe they were selling books, but it's a nice thrift store, secondhand shop, selling all kinds of stuff. Everything from surfing boards to old computers, old cartridges, so Super Nintendo games, and all kinds of things. Super exciting. Even if you don't buy anything, it's just really nice to see what people are into, what they're buying, how it looks like, old Japanese stuff. Not only Japanese, by the way. Really cool. Book Off. Look for the biggest one in your area. Book Off Bazaar, that's what they call it. Other shops include Workman. This is a very good advice I got if you want to get some really affordable clothes. So if you're gonna buy, Uniqlo is at every corner, so if you're gonna buy some brand clothing, it could be quite expensive, but if you're gonna buy no-name brands, well, it can be really affordable. I bought these Aladdin pants for just, I think, like $5 in this Don Quixote shop, by the way. So check it out. My top advice. Another shop that you might want to check out, especially if you forgot to buy a charger or, network adapter, is Daiso, a Hyaku-yen shop, 100 yen shop, which has a lot of, cheap Chinese stuff, but some of it is not the best of a quality and very affordable, so might be really worth it. And remember, the plug here is same as in the US, and it's 110 volts, which means, you need your adapter. for your phone and everything. Modern adapters usually support multiple voltages and frequencies, but I heard one guy burned his laptop charger or laptop itself because not because of the voltage, but because it had different frequency. Ouch. So consider checking your appliances before you use them. I already mentioned you have to carry around your trash with you and you throw it away at your hotel. And sometimes you might be required to sort it a little bit as well, not entirely according to all the rules, but at least cans, PET bottles, and glass bottles are thrown away separately. The PET bottles, the plastic bottles, single-use ones, you have to peel off this plastic wrap first, throw it away in the rest of the garbage, or plastic if they have it separately. And yeah, the rest of dirty garbage you throw away in the common bin, which they call burnable because they burn it. And if there is plastic bin, usually you have to wash your single-use plastic from leftovers of soy sauce and that kind of stuff. This is because, remember, it's all about taking care of others, and so it doesn't stink for them, especially in summer. You have to rinse it off and then put it in the trash. Oh, and by the way, talking about accommodation, booking your accommodation, make sure to check if it is not women only, because there are a lot of guest houses and hostels which allow women only, and there is no easy way to filter out such accommodations on Booking or Airbnb, so just make sure that you're booking the right one. Another thing you might have heard already is you have to take off your shoes in most of the inside places, sometimes even in museums. But if you're staying in a hotel or hostel, or going to onsen, which is a public bath basically, be prepared to use shared slippers in the toilet. This was my biggest cultural shock here. And if you don't want to do this, well, bring your own slippers then. And that's another tip for you right there. Onsens are those public bath kind of situation, hot springs really. Some of them are natural, some not, which I'm not really a fan of, but I'm gonna tell you this. After a long hiking, or on your day of arrival after a long haul flight, might be worth going in there and just relaxing your muscles. Gonna feel fresh, like a fresh cucumber the next day, I'm telling you. Might be worth it. And this comes from a guy who is not really into hot weather or anything hot really. And yeah, those are public baths, and those are the ones where you get in naked. But don't worry, usually it's separated genders bath. Although there are some mixed ones too, I heard. And you have to wash yourself first. So usually there is a shower, you have to make sure that you are clean before you're getting in. So please do that because, it's a shared space, shared bath that you're gonna use. Wow, looking at all these stairs makes me really happy that I don't smoke. But if you are a smoker, you're lucky, because Japan is a smoking country. Yeah, at this point my microphone decided to give up on me, or this heat, so I think what I wanted to say here is be considerable to those who are not smoking and look for dedicated places for smoking. There are plenty of those. In crowded areas like Shibuya, malls and train stations, a lot of places really. I've seen some bars and even cafes where smoking is allowed. Yes, you can have your coffee with cigarette, imagine that. Since we're on the topic of bad habits, drinking alcohol in public is generally allowed. There are some exceptions, of course, but grabbing a beer and relaxing in a park or in front of a convenience store is a thing locals and tourists enjoy. Kampai. You don't even have to put your paper bag around it, like you hear they do in some of those Second Amendment loving countries. To wrap this up, a few most useful words and phrases for you. Let's start with sumimasen, excuse me. Very useful. Then, if you step on someone's toe, you say gomen or gomen nasai. Try not to step on anyone's toes, of course. Then, ohayo, good morning, konnichiwa, just hello, and konbanwa, good evening. Very useful. One that I use probably the most is credito card de onegai shimasu, which means with credit card, please. And if you add onegai shimasu to anything, basically it just means please. So onegai shimasu, another useful word. You can also ask credito cardo tachi daijoubu desu ka? You're asking if it's okay to pay with your phone, basically, or with your wireless credit card, because some places only allow to pay with card when you insert it. Fukuro o kudasai. Can I have a plastic bag, please? Usually you don't have to say this because they give you plastic bag whether you want it or not, so instead you can say daijoubu arigato, which means it's okay, meaning I don't need it. I don't need a plastic bag, for example. Arigato, or arigatou gozaimasu, means thank you. Another word, which is probably the most favorite word of Japanese people, as witnessed by me, is sugoi, which means cool. So if you see something new or exciting or just interesting, you say sugoi. You can also use yabai, which means even cooler. Sounds a bit obscene, and sometimes it is, which basically you can use for any situation involving surprise or when you want to describe something cool or extreme. A very useful phrase, toire wa doko desu ka? Toire meaning toilet. Toire wa doko desu ka? You're asking where's the toilet. Although what I will tell you is one of the cool things in Japan is that the public toilets are free. Oh my god, such a blessing, especially when you're cycling around. And they are fairly frequent, especially around playgrounds or parks, just in the city, everywhere. It's really cool. They are clean. I wish more places in the world were like this. And my all-time favorite, boku wa hentai desu, which means I'm a perv. Use at your own risk. Could be useful though in some bar kind of situations. Yeah. Either way, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if it wasn't. If I missed something, let me know in the comments. If I said something wrong, please do as well. I love all your hater comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Kyo o tanashinde. Also, check out my other videos if you are looking for useful information or just to have some fun. Yeah, let me know if you have fun. For all of you who watched till the end, the top secret tip, and basically I just forgot to say it, I think, that's why I'm recording it now, is check out Kura Sushi as a conveyor belt sushi place. Very cheap and affordable and pretty tasty. Of course, don't eat just there. Check out also some maybe better restaurants. But if you want a decent meal for a good price, that's your way to go. It's a pretty good experience too.